Hey everyone, it's Kale from Scud Style, and I'm going to bring another retention sexual cultivation video for you guys, those subscribers who enjoy those videos. I know I haven't made one in a little while. And I think I want to start a series about literature. A lot of people I work with, I lend them books, and they seem to really enjoy them and really helpful. So I thought I'd kind of go into a few of the ones that I have in each video. And so today I want to bring up one. It's called Brain Gain, and Brain Gain, the Wisdom of Celibacy and Chastity. And so this is a book that I got a couple of years ago. You've Been Cheated, and it talks about your precious brain is at stake. Society has tricked you into thinking that sex for fun is practically free, but we've overlooked the hidden tax on our brain. Don't believe it? See what over 120 eminent scientists say. It talks about people like Tesla, Newton, Beethoven, Michelangelo, Thoreau, Pascal, Nietzsche, Emily Dickinson, Elizabeth I, Joan of Arc, Florence Nightingale, etc., etc. And so there are bits on all of these pieces in here and how they've kind of used celibacy and their own form of sexual restraint and transmutation and things like that to achieve fantastic things. So just kind of want to go into this a little bit, show you guys kind of what's here, and I'll put a link below of where I got the book. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, if you need a little bit of motivation or you want to know a little bit of more science stuff too, this book's kind of balanced between like the science and the esoteric, the less defined, right, the more mystical. But it's cool. It's got both because obviously there's a lot of scientists in here. So yeah, I mean, if we just go through the contents, starts with an introduction with neuroses and psychoses, origin and treatment of them, the brain and semen, chemistry of the brain, nerves, thymus, right? So we get into the science initially, and then the classical continents, Pythagoras, Hippocrates, Democritus, and the Ayurvedic, metabolic chain, Aristotle, people like that, and then modern abstinence, and then it goes into kind of the people and their profiles and those who have used it and things like that. Celibate geniuses, scientists see the light, and which is kind of that marriage and new thing between East and West. Freud gets like 27 pages or something. Libidoless diet, just people who have had different experiences with different aspects of this kind of thing. So if you can find one or two things in this book, I mean, it's definitely worth the cost of just a regular hardback book, because I know this is a really important practice for a lot of people, and it affects every area of your life. I'm a lifestyle coach, and one big master habit can really make a huge impact on everything else in your life, cascading down. So anything you can find that helps you. Religious purity. Obviously, there's some. It's no secret that chastity and religion go hand in hand in a lot of ways. And then chaste women. So there is actually a section for women here as well. I know they don't get as much attention in the community because it is slightly different for men and women, but in many cases, there's lots of women who have taken a chaste or celibate life and have done amazing things thanks to that. So, yeah, so let me just bring you guys a little bit through this, and you can see that I've, made my own notes on it. I like to mark up books that I read. But there's some cool stuff, like towards the beginning here, the chemistry of semen, right? Goes into some science and things like that. What it's composed of, how many are given off, things like that. Don't want to spoil too much for you guys. Here's something that I had marked for myself, a little star here. The sex glands and the brain have an intimate physiological connection with each other, which is antagonistic in the sense that greater activity of one leads to decreased activity of the other. I thought that's simple, and we all believe that, but it's kind of a key thing when we talk about chemistry of the brain. And then it goes into things like nerves, a whole section on nerves. The loss of prostatic secretion, a constituent of the semen, should tend to cause undernutrition of nerve cells by depriving them of lecithin, which is a huge building block of the brain. It goes into the thymus, in summary. And a cool thing, like you say, I do not understand the very function of the sexual apparatus. It has two functions: internal secretion, which is primary, and reproduction, which is secondary. Any other use of these endocrine organs is a perversion which will reap its penalty in the form of nervous disorder and premature old age. So there's tons of things in here like this written by kind of gurus of the past, and it's not just Eastern gurus. Obviously, it's scientists from all over the world. So yeah, and then next session, classical continents and things like that. So, and then it starts to get into these cool profiles. It's got pictures. We got Pythagoras and Hippocrates right away here. Goes into kind of a little blurb on their life, and then the author does comments. Pythagoras called semen the flower of the purest blood. You have little things like that. So these are just really motivating things, because obviously most of the time when people know about Pythagoras, they have no idea what his opinion is on things like that. It's not one of the more covered accomplishments of Pythagoras, but for those who are looking at things like that, yeah. And then obviously there's more charts, more that is the prostate right there, and then the cerebral cortex over here. And I'm only on page 37, so I mean this is a really good text. I don't want to take up too long of your guys' time, but I want to show you what's out there. Ayurvedic metabolic chain is in here, right? I know people have talked about how chyle is formed from the nutrients of the food, goes to blood, goes to flesh, goes to fat, goes to bone, goes to marrow, and then goes to vital fluids, including hormones. So this essence is distilled down from food all the way down through a huge chain, and a lot of energy is taken up to distill this purest essence, right? And a lot of people just waste it. So, transformation of datus. So it's just full of really good stuff. I was kind of exceeded my expectations when I bought this text, so it's the first one I wanted to show you guys. And then modern abstinence, and again, so it just goes through more profiles, more people. So the beginning is the kind of the science stuff, and then it goes into like case studies almost, or people's individual. John the Baptist, Jesus Christ, for those with the penchant for. Okay, we got Beethoven, Thoreau, Tesla, and then some Indian gurus, which I do not want to butcher their names. Yeah, and more. And then so that's a little bookmark in here. Moses, St. Augustine. And then there's this really cool section in here, Rules of Brahmacharya by Gandhi. Ever heard of Gandhi, guys? Ever heard of Jesus, guys? No, so I mean, whatever you believe of these, whatever your opinions are, it's hard to argue that these guys knew what they were doing. So in this cool kind of gray paper, there's some stuff in that. So it's just chalk, Pope John Paul II, Prana, the Dalai Lama, and then, Chapter 9, the Chaste Women section, Joan of Arc. And then there's a really cool index section, centers around the world for stuff. So I want to wrap this up. I don't want to take too much of your time, guys, but Brain Gain, I think, is a really cool book. If you need motivation, if you want more information, if you want more answers, and you don't want to spend hours searching on the internet just to get conflicting stuff, this is a very well thought out, researched, concise, organized, balanced approach of kind of the male essence especially, but there's obviously female stuff in there too. Just wanted to share this with you guys. If anyone needs motivation, I recommend checking out this book. Like I said, I'll leave a link down below where I got it. And hope you guys enjoy this. Comment if you like this series, you want me to bring more. I'm happy to bring more of these texts that have helped me and helped my people I work with. So take care, guys.